And welcome to another edition of Covering the Bases, postseason edition. Joining me is the head coach of the Wildcats, Coach Travis Free. We also have some special guests, and we'll flip over there. I'll introduce them. From left to right, that is Carson Fagan, Mikey Teasley in the middle, and Parker Free on the right. They are getting ready to start District 3 tournament action tomorrow, I believe 6 o'clock, against the winner of Carnes and Halls, which is going on, I guess, it has been going on.
Yep, it's 3-2 Halls.
3-2 Halls, so you don't know who you're going to play yet. But postseason edition means, you finish the regular season 27-7. Coach, they have the shot of the guys here, so I'll ask them the first question. Guys, 27-7, one shy of your all-time win total from a year ago. Talk about the season in your all's opinion, how it's gone for you guys.
I think this year we've came more together as a team than we were last year, and I think that plays a big part, just coming together as a team and just we have this saying, just pass the bat off to the next person. I think if we do that, I think we're unbeatable.
Let me ask Coach the same question. 27-7, obviously a great record. The teams you've lost to, quality opponents. You played some quality opponents during the course of the year. How's this team focused heading towards the postseason?
When the coach speaks, you're always worried about the worst. I'm always worried about what we're not doing good. But like I told them yesterday hang your hat and be proud of what you've done, because it is the most wins in a regular season that I'd say that's in school history, since we're just one short of the school record that we set last year. But, we can't chase wins. At this point, we've got to be able to just chase, each day one win at a time, one outcome at a time, one game at a time, all those things that we kind of talk about. But this team's just a little bit, they're more experienced. How about that? That maybe if the one thing that I could see that with this group and this unit, they know what's about to happen tomorrow. They know what's about to happen the week after that. They know they know how the whole format works. They know what they have to do to get there. They know how many wins it's going to take to get back to the state tournament. Like all those things, like this team knows. They know the environments. They know the situations. They know how, I'm not having to teach them something brand new that they're not accustomed to. And so I think that has helped us throughout the course of the year, is everybody has kind of been through it that's in our lineup. Last year was a lot of new guys that had never been through those moments, and now every single guy that plays day in and day out was a part of that team in some way last year. So they kind of know what was coming and how to do it. Now with that comes a little bit of complacency, a little bit of we've just kind of coasted a little bit here lately. We've not been our best, just because we are kind of ready for tomorrow. We're ready for that next step.
Mikey, let me ask you that. What Coach just said, you've been coasting a little bit, even though you've gotten a lot of wins during the course. How do you refocus and get charged up for first of the postseason?
We know what we have in front of us, and we know the competition we're about to play. So it's just a switch that we have to turn on, like Coach Free always says. We find a way to turn on a switch, and we come together and play faster and stronger together than anything.
Parker, let me ask you something. District tournament especially, you've played these guys. You'll play their Halls or Carnes. You swept Halls in the first series of the year. You swept Carnes just recently in the last 2 or 3 weeks or so. How do you get up for a team you've beaten twice already?
They always say it's hard to beat a team 3 times, but I feel like as a team right now, we got our pieces in order with our pitching staff, and our hitters are finally starting to click on offense and all cylinders. So we just got to go out there and play the same game and play as one team all together.
I'm gonna come back to you guys here in a second with more individual questions, but I put some questions down. I don't usually do this, Coach. As you know, I don't usually write out the questions for you, but there's some. I write down their questions, but not your questions. But these are a little bit more difficult, and I know you're about the team first and not about individuals. But this time of the year, when superlatives are given out, I'm going to ask you a few things about some individuals and about the team, but. As you look at this particular team, 27-7, heading into the postseason, who is the most improved player on the team this year from a year ago?
It just depends on the facet, all right? I could go position by position and tell you how much people have improved. Even we'll start with these 3 over here just since they're here. But to me, Parker's made a huge jump in his physical body and his offensive approach. And to me, that's huge improvement that he needed to take a step. Mikey has struck out 87 batters and walked 8 guys. His freshman year, he walked 57 guys. So if you want to talk about improvement based on numbers, I mean, that's a huge jump. You talking about Carson is just completely kind of changed who he was as a player in the course of a year, just all those things. And like going to be a big piece of our lineup tomorrow night, like just needing somebody to kind of fill that role when Mikey pitches. And then now he's going to be my Swiss Army knife. So he's going to be a little bit everywhere. So like to me, he has to practice so many positions. I also take into consideration Noah Wood. Over the course of the year, I think Noah has got better and better and better and better as the season progresses. I think he really has taken a step forward, would be one guy that sticks out for sure. We could continue to go, but like if you had to get me to pick one player in particular, I don't know that I have just one. We've just got better in so many spots that we needed to from last year. But really, where we've really improved is maturity, and understanding of how to play the game and understanding what the situations are going to be. There's nothing you're going to throw at us now that we're not going to be ready for.
Let me ask them, kind of go what you just said and what you said about them. Let me ask Parker first. Parker, you were a freshman last year. You played a lot of catcher. You played some in the infield. But how you heard Coach talk about you. How do you see yourself? What improvements have you seen yourself make, and what did you do to make those improvements?
Yeah, I feel like the body portion of it is a huge factor. And it's like now, like last year, I was hurting almost every time I would have to go out there and catch again. Like my knees were sore, but now I've built up so much muscle around it that it's every day I can go in there, do the same stretch routine, and my knees and arm feel great. And then hitting wise, it's all just the mindset with multiple reps of practice that I've gotten over and over again, just to try and simulate that throughout the entire game.
Mikey, you're obviously, Coach says your control is better. Talk about that.
I would agree with him because, the past 2 years I feel like I haven't been able to find the zone like I should. And also with me getting stronger in the weight room, I'm able to throw the ball harder. And I think that's also allowing me to be in the zone more and get swing and misses because I'm able to throw the ball harder and stay efficient through the whole game.
Carson, you came in from Texas, I believe it was. So talk about the transition that you made, I guess, to come from there, get to the program last year, and I guess you're more comfortable this year as well?
It's a big switch coming to somewhere that you really don't know anyone. And Coach Free and the team welcomed me the first day I came and just treated me like I've been here since we started. But this year, I think we're all so close, and it just helps that you have someone that you can lean on that can help you out.
So, Coach, my next question is, who has made the biggest impact as a new player on the team?
Well, obviously would probably be Carson, but then Carson missed a huge portion of the year, right? The guy got hurt, and that kind of set us back in a tailspin. So then that's kind of been a revolving door of all those. So, if you really think about new players, you're talking about Carson, Noah, Witt, and like all those guys have had the same impact in trying to find that rotation. Everybody else has kind of like been there. Am I missing? Like you guys all kind of been there from last year. So I would say those three as a combination has weathered the storm. And honestly, defensively, they've been phenomenal. Like really, if you look at our defensive in the middle infield, was everybody started the year. I remember like it was yesterday that when you're in February and we're having conversations about where is your biggest concern moving into the year. Well, our middle infield is going to be brand new. Well, now nobody even talks about our middle infield because they kind of have weathered that storm and they've done a really good job, an excellent job on that. So to me, those three guys that have filled that void a lot has probably been the biggest impact.
Coach, you and I talked about this on our last show that we did here. We were concerned, like, outsiders, maybe not you guys, were concerned about who was going to take that leadoff spot. Caden had been up there for 4 years, and Warren East is really settled.
It's incredible. Warren's on pace to break the school record in hits. He's a guy. He's got 30+ stolen bases. He's hitting over 400. He's done everything that we've asked him plus some. Like he has filled that role. You're right. Like that. That's not a new player, so I don't think of it that way. But as far as a huge impact, he has been incredible.
This is a question that you've kind of answered a little bit, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Who has been the most consistent player you've had from that very first game? Or maybe in practice?
To me, our pitching staff has been the most consistent piece of our whole team. If you really look at it, they all have been the most consistent. I think that if you take Cheeto, Mikey, Cy, and Peyton, they've won something in the neighborhood of close to like 25 games on the mound. Like, so that's consistency in my opinion. If you're looking at overall offensive production, Warren has been pretty consistent, and I mean, I think everybody in our team knows that if Warren and Parker are getting on base and consistently having great ABs, it sets the tone for the entire day. Like, and you see the games that we play well on offense, Warren's on, Parker's hitting him in, Mikey then right there, everybody just kind of feeds off of them. So if those two have been really consistent. I mean, but Mikey and Warren are the two guys hitting over 400, and Parker's right behind them, close to 400 on the year. So that's consistency in my opinion.
Let me ask the three guys. Coach says and sees things differently from players. As you look at your team, who would you say would be the most consistent player and who has improved the most of the players other than you three?
I'd say consistency when you see somebody come out of the dugout to go on the mound and it's Peyton Witter, you know the game's unlocked. Like, you know you got a good chance of winning it, and he's going to go out there and shove. And then hitting, like he said, we all feed off of each other. So once one person gets that one big knock, then it just falls in the line. Like, that's why we have so many big innings as of recently, like 4 or 5 runs an inning, because we all just feed off of each other. And once you see one person, like, beat the guy on the mound, then you know he's beatable.
Mikey?
Honestly, so hitting side, I would say Warren, because he had a year that he didn't want to have last year, and he put that beside him, and he's rose to every occasion we've asked him this year, and he's shined in a big stage and big moments. So he's not letting the game beat him up, and he's really killing it on offense. So, and then defensively, I would say probably the pitching staff is solid. But if I had to say somebody, I'd say Peyton or Cy.
I know it's hard to be the third person to answer the same question, but Carson?
I mean, I'm going to go off of them, but I feel like I don't think we've really lost the game when Warren gets that leadoff hit and gets on base. I honestly don't think we've lost, and I think Warren is that impact. When he gets on base, I think that plays a major part in the rest of the game. And then defensively, I would say probably Peyton. When he takes the mound, it's just, you know that the game's there and it's in his hands. And I mean, he was a major part last year and this year.
Coach, I was going to not ask you this question, but I think it will. Where have you seen the most improvement as a team since the Marable game, that first Marable game?
To be honest, why we didn't play well in that first game, it's the first time in Oak Ridge history that I've been around that we had a target, we'll say. We were ranked in the top 5 in the state. We had all these people coming back. We had all these things. And so teenagers and social media and all the things that they hang their hat on every single day was talking about how we were going to be the greatest team ever, when at the end of the day, it's still about showing up and playing the game right. And so that's where we've had to make the improvements and the adjustments. And we did. I mean, that was a terrible night at Maryville, and then all of a sudden we've turned around. There was a stretch we won like 14 games in a row at some point. So, like, I've just seen their maturity. We found the pieces, the rotations. We figured out how we want to do some things. So that's been a big jump. But honestly, we walked like 5 guys that night. Only one other time in the course of the season have we had over 3 walks in the game. So to me, we started throwing the ball over the plate over and over and over, and that was how we started to get on a roll. Because really what it comes down to is just not giving up free bases, whether that be walks, hit by pitches, or making errors. And if we do that consistently, you look at all the games that we win, we're walking 1, maybe 2 guys, and we're not making any errors. When we do that, we're going to find a way on offense to score enough runs to win.
I mentioned this is our postseason show. Postseason starts for the Wildcats tomorrow. Bobby Hopkins Field, 6 o'clock against either Carnes or Halls. And Coach, I'm gonna ask you this question. I'm gonna ask all 3 of them.
Yep.
Keys to a long postseason. What's it going to take for this team?
Not looking ahead, worried about tomorrow, worried about playing our best each day. These are all going to be coach speak, but they're going to speak coach speak too, because they know exactly what I'm going to say tomorrow. It's just about tomorrow. And we've got to start to believe that we've got to grow closer together. We have to not have separation when hard times hit. And our team, our biggest weakness, and it's no secret to our whole community, our biggest weakness is when adversity hits. Sometimes that we like to make excuses, as teenagers like to do, or as adults like to do, or anybody. They like to point the blame or push the blame somewhere else. And I've challenged them just to, just face it and let's go to work. Be a better teammate, get behind somebody. When it's 25 of us in the dugout tomorrow pulling for one guy to get the job done, we can't be beaten. We're better, we're more talented than anybody that we're going to play over the next week. But that doesn't matter. Talent doesn't win at the end of the day. Talent doesn't win. It's about the culture of the inside of your team and how you are going to do those things. And so to me, if we can do what we did last year, that's like I was telling them yesterday. It gives me chill bumps to think about it. But last year when we kind of started to get it going, I remember all of us guys and all the players, like they were the first one to the field. They just couldn't wait to get back. They couldn't wait for more. They couldn't wait for the next experience. They couldn't wait for us to go see how we were going to win the game. And then when we get to that point and they can pull for each other like that they can't wait to get out of school to get over there as fast as they can to the field. When they can turn that on and get that going like they're going to start tomorrow night, it's going to be a good run.
I'm going to help Carson, let him answer that first, but let Parker be last.
I mean, if we just trust the process and focus on the game that's happening that day, I think we're unbeatable. If we just look at the moment, come together as a team, and just pull for each other and just pass it off to the next person and just.
Mikey, you've been involved with, your freshman year. You pitched, against Farragut and Hardin Valley at Carson Newman, I remember. So you've been involved pretty firmly in two big postseasons. Talk about how this postseason could be different.
I feel like this postseason could be different because I know what we did last year, and everybody knows what we did last year. So I want to make sure, because Coach Free says we have 11 to win it all, and we won 14 straight. So I believe that we have the confidence and we have good feeling enough to where we can go ahead and win 14 straight and not try to look at the opponent ahead or get ahead of ourselves and just settle down and focus on who we have now.
Parker, how'd you make it to the state tournament last year?
If I could put the whole run into one word, I'd probably say unity. As a team, we were the strongest bond we had ever had. We had you had guys in the dugout that you knew you could ride or die on. You had guys in the dugout you could trust with your life, and that's what this team right here is. The one thing we might lack a little bit.
The competition you've had this year, you've played a good Hardin Valley team. You played Maryville several times. You went down to Alabama. You won that tournament, beat some good teams down there. How important has been the competition to get them ready for the start of the second season, which starts tomorrow?
Well, it's important for us to continue to build depth. I mean, when you look at it, any team that wins the state tournament they've got to be able to go play through a 5-game week. They've got to be able to throw 7 to 8 guys throughout the course of a week, and so you simulate those by doing it. I always try to take a trip to the Tri-Cities because everybody knows that if you're going to make it in a sub-state, you're going to have to travel all the way up to Upper East Tennessee, so I take that trip on purpose. And I'm big on this, and they know this, visualizing and seeing the process. I want them to see the schools and the locations that we may have to go play a game. I want to play a Friday night game that's in a hard location sometimes. I want to be able to get in the vans and travel. I want all those things. So I simulate those things because I see who we're going to have to play down the road. One thing I would like to do, and obviously next year we'll be playing against Farragut, but I've always tried to get like a Friday night game at Farragut to try to play them the last 2 years. I've tried to work on getting that so that we could go put our feet on that ground and go play. But this year the cool thing is, really, and I shared this with the team and everybody, like, the state tournament run goes right through Oak Ridge. Like, they can't take it from us if we continue to win. That every single series would be right here at Hopkins. So it's pretty cool. It's set up in a great thing. We did step one by getting the district host at our place, and it'll be there from Thursday on. We'll play every game at our home field. If we're lucky enough and continue to work hard and get the district championship, we host the regional tournament. Win the region, you host the sub-state, like all those things is going to be really cool for our community. I don't think they understand how cool that is. It's one thing we didn't get to experience last year is being able to play in front of our hometown and our home thing. Like this year, we have an opportunity to do that. I'm hoping that adds a little juice to them. It's like Parker just said it. The one thing we are missing is that. I mean, I know I'm talking a lot, but I was thinking about this when they were talking, is last year when you go back and look at all the videos and the images and the stuff that you put out there and the stuff that was on our social media post, it was pure excitement. Like, it was genuine, it was original, it wasn't fake, it wasn't piped in, it was like just pure excitement just to get back and continue to play. And that's where you really get those magical runs, is when your kids can't wait to play and they can't wait to watch their friends go out there and compete.
What you mentioned about getting a chance to play at home, you could look at the basketball team this year. They got to host the district tournament, the region tournament, sub-state, and they went to the state tournament, boys and
100%.
girls. It's a big deal.
It's incredible. Well, if you really look at Oak Ridge, everybody can say what they want, but Oak Ridge is on one of the greatest runs in school history. You know, we went to the state tournament. Football made it to the semifinals. Boys and girls basketball, and then baseball is going to have a chance again. I mean, this is one of the greatest, moments in our community as far as every sport's winning.
I'm going to talk about these individuals over here, Coach. I know, obviously, you know one better than the other two, but
I don't know. They're all my kids now.
If you would, talk about each one of these guys, and then I'm going to ask them some questions about baseball. Just talk about their abilities and how they've matured as players, starting with Carson.
Well, Carson is a guy that is irreplaceable on our team. If you really look at what's going to happen over the next week, and you guys will see this as early as tomorrow, as he is the one person on our team that can play. He's going to play in left field. He's going to play at third base. He's going to play at second base. And he is going to pitch all within this week. Wow. He will play all of those positions this weekend. Nobody else on our team can do that. So, to me, you kind of look at the Braves. We follow the Braves. There's always that guy that can kind of merge between the infield and the outfield that is irreplaceable. He is going to be irreplaceable. And he's just now, in my opinion, and he would probably tell me this, he's just now starting to feel a little bit better in his knee. Like, he wanted to get out there because he's super competitive, but he wasn't quite back where he was. But I'm starting to see some signs of him really starting to close in and get a little bit better and closer to where he was. So that, to me, if there's one thing that we can't do without, we can't do with his versatility. Obviously, Mikey, everybody talks about Mikey, so I'm not going to build him up too much. But I will tell you this, and I've told him this. I have been more proud of him this year than I've ever been. And I've known him for a long time and watched him pitch for a long time. But for the first time in my life with him, he was a pitcher. Like, he pitched. Like, he only one time can I say he lost his way, he lost his composure, and he made poor pitches one time this year. Outside of that, he has been dominant. And there's no other word to do that, and I don't want to build him up too much because what is important to us all is ahead of us. But if you think of an 87-8 ratio of strikeout to walk, that's incredible. He has been consistent, he has been in the strike zone, and he has been untouchable. And he is irreplaceable in that for us right now. So I hope that he just continues to turn it up another gear, because I think there's another level in there for him. And he's going to find that, and that, what he has to do, it's about the elite level process. It's about his mental game. It's about him showing up every day. There's nobody that can phase him or tell him he's a UT commit or UT this, or try to talk smack about something that is a bonus that doesn't even, he just laughs it off and goes and shoves it. Parker, to me, and I know he's my own son, but he is the rock of our team. He is the most consistent leader that we have, and they can say what they want about that. It's the way that I've raised him, and he is the most consistent. He shows up every single day. He practices hard. He pulls for his team in the right way. When he speaks, they listen, and that to me is irreplaceable. Without him, we can add in the fact that if he's not catching, that we're not as good. Yeah, I think we all know that. But at the end of the day, he does the intangible things that nobody pays attention to unless you really know the ins and outs of the game. And they all would believe that. If you really want to know the most consistent player, it's Parker. He never is too emotional. Nobody ever has to tell him to get his stuff together. Nobody never has to tell him that he needs to control his emotion. Everybody else is guilty, but he's consistent. And I try to be that way, so hopefully he learns that to me, that I always, every day, am pretty consistent.
Well, let's go to them. Parker, I've asked this question of several young men and women. What's it like playing for your dad?
It's a sense of, I mean, you always have a sense of bond with them, and you can talk with them with anything. But it's a thing where it's, you know, he's going to push you to be the hardest, to play the hardest, and he's not going to treat you, he's not going to baby you. He's not going to treat you any different. He's going to push you, if not hard, if not harder than everybody else, because he knows, like he said a second ago, you got to be the rock, because you're the example that everybody looks for.
Coach, do you push him harder than the others? A lot of coaches say they don't do it consciously, but
I don't have to anymore. I used to have to coach him really hard. You know, sometimes on the ride home it was harder than others, but now I don't have to push him at this point. Like, and I'll be honest, he doesn't have to worry about me. He's got to worry about his mama. I mean, at this point, there is no secret. Like, when he's not doing things right, his mama's going to tell him. And so, to me, yeah, we talk baseball. It is a sense of comfort, but obviously I'm going to push him. Everybody's heard me yell at Parker before, right? But at the end of the day, he knows that I'm just trying to get his attention.
So, Mikey, as a UT commit, I mean, that kind of puts a target on you with the other teams. I mean, if you strike out, do you hear it from the other team? Talk about what it's like, because they know it. They know that you've committed to play ball at the defending national champions. You only have junior this year, but what's it like having to deal with that?
I'm definitely, so it's like, it's pressure that I don't really put on myself, but at the same time, I still deal with it because it's like they expect me to go 3 for 3 or 4 for 4 every game, and if I don't, they're talking about how I'm overrated this, overrated that, I'm not as good, I shouldn't be going to Tennessee, stuff like that. But I just have to put it away from me and go and play my hardest every game, and I can't look at negative stuff because I know when I get to college, I'm going to have fans. If I'm playing an away game, I'm going to have fans chirping worse things than overrated in the stands. So it's like I got to learn how to be strong mentally and play the game.
Carson, Coach talked about your versatility as you get ready for this. Talk about that. Obviously, everybody wants to play. It sounds like you get to play a lot of different positions. What's that like?
I mean, it's fun. I could go from Mikey's pitching from third base, then Mikey gets out the game and I'm back in left field or second base. It's just whatever's going on in the game, I'm probably moving position to position every time someone's getting switched out. And it's fun, just playing all the positions and just.
We're going to take a break here. This is Covering the Bases, getting set for the postseason to begin for the Oak Ridge Baseball Wildcats. We'll be back to talk more baseball with these three guys and Coach Free in a moment.
Fox Insurance Group is a local agency. We've got a great staff. We're knowledgeable. The most rewarding thing about working in insurance is taking care of customers. When they come in, a lot of times they don't know what coverages they need. They're relying on us to give them the right coverage that's going to fit their needs, but also at a competitive price. Anybody can go to any agent or they can call any 1-800 number. But getting that right agent that's going to take care of them and be there in time of need, and that's what we're here to do.
When something happens to your car, you might say,
ugh, come on, seriously? This is so extra.
but what you could say is,
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
your local State Farm agents are available to help you online, over the phone, or in person. State Farm agents are here to help answer your questions and help you file your claim.
This is so extra.
Get with someone who can actually help. Contact me, Agent Laura Lynn Green, today.
Wow, I am not as fast as 7 when it comes to running, that is, but I'm pretty quick at selling your home. Hi, I'm Karen George of Walton George Realty Group, right here in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. But I buy and sell all over the Tennessee area. Give my office a call and we can help you as quickly as 7 can run.
Welcome back to Covering the Bases, the Oak Ridge High School baseball show. We haven't done a whole lot of those in You know, you mentioned earlier about making excuses. I'm going to make some excuses. I haven't been able to do as many ball games as I have. The school policy changed this year, and we weren't able to stream the home ball games, which you've played a ton of home ball games here recently, especially, and all I can do is watch. So, but hopefully that'll change next year for these guys, because all three will be back next year. But Coach, as you head to the postseason, I know in other sports, basketball in particular is a matchup kind of deal.
Yep.
Is baseball the same way?
100%. Yeah. What is our pitching staff? What is the best matchup for us and those things? It is a matchup. Every time that, we've ever been fortunate enough to make it to the state tournament in my career, which has been 4 times, it's always just each game you kind of match up well with your pitching staff, matches up good. So, yeah, 100% it's going to be matchup based. But, in a district tournament, it's really just withstand and prolong, be able to make it through the whole week. It's a long haul, and we've got to just be able to continue one win at a time and just one day at a time. Things change, and we're built for it. As I've told them, we are the one team in our league that is built for a tournament setting. We're going to have 5 starters that are going to be able to go win the game, and we're going to have some relief guys to do that. So we're built like – the other teams just aren't built that deep. Now, on the front end, it's always hard when you start a tournament just because everybody's got a good arm that we're going to have to see. Tomorrow we're going to face Fisher Green, and Fisher's a freshman who's going to be a really, really good player in this league for a long time. So we're going to have to be ready to do that. He throws the ball with some good velocity, but we've seen him, and we got to him late last time, so I hope that kind of carries over some confidence for us, and we'll be ready to go.
With the exception of Carson, I have seen Parker and Mikey play different sports. Carson, I'll start with you. I know you probably have played other sports as well. Why did you choose baseball as your sport?
I mean, I felt like I performed the best at baseball. I used to play football, but I was scared to get hit. I didn't want to get hit. I didn't want to get hit because that hurt too much. And then I tried basketball, and then, I couldn't shoot the basketball to save my life. So I stuck to baseball because I had the most potential in baseball.
Mikey?
I don't really know. I loved playing football, and I missed Friday Night Lights, but I knew I had a brighter future at baseball. And, that's what it was, really.
Parker, I assume this is why you play baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know you've played football too. So.
I was born in it, and there's no other game that I'd rather play than baseball.
So as a catcher, you obviously catch the different pitchers. They all have different styles. Talk about your role and how important it is for a catcher to have a great relationship with pitchers. And then I'm going to ask Mikey and Carson how important it is to have a relation with you.
You got to be the rock. You have to, no matter how the pitcher's throwing, no matter how his emotions are flying left and right, you got to be the one that can get him back to even kill and get him back to steady to what he needs to work on and focus on every single time. And that just comes with being in the bullpen with them, knowing what adjustment they need to make if this is happening or if this is happening. So you just got to be the one to keep them straight on, to keep their head in the right direction.
Mikey?
Like he said, most of the time I don't even know what I'd be doing wrong in the bullpen, and he'll tell me, just do something, da-da-da-da-da, and it'll magically work. So it's good having a relationship with him like that, but also me and Parker played baseball together and against each other since we were like 9 years old. We played travel ball against each other, and then we started playing with each other. So our bond has definitely grown from then, and we've definitely became stronger, and it's the matchup between us, me on the mound and him catching. I don't think nobody can ever mess with us.
Carson, my uncle was a catcher. He played college ball years ago, and he always said pitchers are dumb, catchers run the whole show. What's your thoughts on that?
They do play a major part because behind the plate you can literally see every position and whatever's going on in the game. You could see someone messing around in the field or whatever. The catcher has the bird's eye view of the whole field, and I feel like they do have control of the whole field because they control pretty much the game besides the tempo of the pitcher, but they have control of the game.
They say that one of the hardest things to do in sports is to hit a baseball. In your opinion, what is the hardest part about baseball? All three of you.
To hit the ball. And the mental side of the game. The mental side of the game, knowing, looking outside, I mean, you can always have those outsiders and say, like, if I got so-and-so chances to hit a baseball, I could do it. It's not that hard. But then you don't encounter the mental side of the game. Playing 34 regular season games, and now we got to play up to 13 more games after that are even more high tax and with the season on the line. The mental side is so taxing to the body.
Mikey, I'm going to ask you a different question. Obviously, all three of you probably would want to move on and play beyond high school. But I'm going to ask Mikey this in particular because he's already committed to a school. What is the difference between a high school player and a college player, and the step from a college player to a professional player? What are those things that go into that? I'm going to ask Coach you the same question.
Definitely your work ethic, it got to be up there to succeed at any level you play. Because if you go from high school and you expect to just jump in there and start your freshman year in college, but you haven't worked all summer or anything like that, you have no chance to even smell a baseball, throw a baseball, anything like that. And at the pro level, you have so little of time because the ball's coming at normally 95 to 105. So you have limited time to react. And if you're not seeing that on a daily basis, then it's going to be tough for you to hit the baseball.
Coach, years ago when I watched Todd Helton play for Central against us, you could see he was a man amongst boys, and that's why he's in the MLB Hall of Fame. I mean, he was totally different from any other player that I saw on the field.
Yeah.
Talk about those steps from high school to college to pros.
Well, Mikey hit one. It's work ethic, but really what separates the best. Now, obviously, you got to take talent out of the equation because that's not fair to judge what separates them, because there's very talented people that play in college that don't play in the major leagues and vice versa. But it's more their mental side, as Parker said. But, like, those players are elite level mentally, and the way that they go about it and how they can withstand adversity, you know, because it's a game that's so hard. Those are the ones that obviously separate over time, I think, because they're able to play through the hardest moments and the hardest environments and continue to move forward. Or even when things aren't going great and all that, they find ways to get through it.
Carson, why do you think people think baseball is a boring sport? Do you watch baseball other than when you're playing? Do you watch? I ask this. I can't wait to hear the answer, because I ask this to everybody. Do you watch baseball?
I watch. I don't really watch Major League. I do watch college baseball a lot.
Why do you think people think it's a boring sport? I don't. Coach doesn't.
I mean, it's definitely not a boring sport. I mean, the people that don't play it, I think sitting in the stands might be boring, but when you're on the field in the moment, in the biggest games that we're ever going to have, it's the best feeling when you're the one that could possibly have the big moment of the game that hits the walk-off hit or strikes out the last batter of the game. Those are big moments that the fans really don't get to experience, but on the field, it's a totally big difference than just sitting in the stands.
So, Mikey, baseball is a team sport, but it's an individual team sport. How do you kind of wrestle individuals all together? And Coach, this is probably a better question for you. If 9 guys into a team, even though each individual has to perform, it isn't like a lineman where they all are doing their jobs, or the quarterbacks going to the receivers. How is baseball a team sport when it's 9 individuals having to perform?
Like Parker said earlier, unity. Unity plays a big part in it, and if you're not all together and you're not on the same page, and you're going to be bound to make a mistake. And I trust my guys that they're going to work their butt off, and that's all that I really see in them is they work every day, 24/7. So.
Coach, as a coach, you have to be a psychiatrist sometimes too. Every kid's different.
Sometimes.
Yeah, well, okay, all the time.
Daily.
Every kid is different. You have to motivate them in different ways. How do you mold a team? Obviously, this team has a lot of talent. I mean, more talent than probably position by position than just about any team. Early 90s teams, very talented. This team is very talented.
Yep.
How do you mold them into a team?
Well, this has been the hardest year to manage in my career here, and we're the most talented we've ever had. Because with high-level talent sometimes calls high-level personality, and high-level personality is hard to manage. But how to answer your question is time together. I have to sometimes, over Carson's career, I may have to be really, really hard on him. but then maybe that didn't work. And so the next time I'll try a different approach. And sometimes it's trial and error. How do I get them motivated and know what they have to do? You know, with Parker, it used to be I had to be loud, but now it's just through conversation on the way home to kind of and show him what it does mean to be an elite level player. Mikey, sometimes I got to be soft, sometimes I got to be hard. You know, Warren, most time if I've got to get on Warren at all, it's usually hard. I can't get on him soft, he won't listen. So like I've just learned over time by being around them and having conversations with them and talking to them and figuring out who they are as people, how I can turn their switches on and off if I need to. So I would say that it's trial and error, and I will say it's spending a lot of time together. The cool thing about baseball that's so different is we're so close-knit all the time. We're always in the same building, we're in the same locker room, we're in the same dugout. Football is so separated with position groups, so it's a bigger team, and then basketball's not as many people. So baseball, we're always close-knit. We like to spend time together. We like to hang out together. So that's where we build that unity to get it going. You know, and then my goal for them right now and this year and going in, even into next year is I want them to be player-driven leaders, that I don't have to police them. And I told that really, if this team's going to be successful, I've done all the legwork that I can do for them. It's going to come down to the players standing for the right things and holding the standard as high as we can hold it for as long as we can. And if they do that, we're going to win a lot right here in this down the stretch. So, you know, just trying to teach them and empower them also to have a voice. Rick Barnes does that better than anybody around. He empowers his players to lead the team, and these guys got to lead the team. They've got to do it.
So, Parker, you have caught almost 34 games. I know Taylor and Kipton have done some catching, but you've caught almost every ball game. Are you sore? I mean, catchers, do you get sore? I see you fidgeting over there. I don't know if it's nerves or that you're sore sitting in the.
I mean, soreness really comes after the fact, like after the game, but like the next day we got our, I guess, strength conditioner, Nate. We hired him this year, but he'll get you right in about 3 seconds. He'll find one knot, tear it up, and your soreness is gone. And then also taking like daily or like every other day ice baths. Just get in there for a little bit down your neck. It relieves all the soreness away from out of your body.
So, Mikey, be honest here. Post game, when Coach Free's talking, do you lock in on what he's saying every word, or are you off sometimes?
Oh, I'm off. Majority of the time, I'm off. I'm just thinking about what I'm gonna. I don't even know.
Chick-fil-A.
What you gonna eat after the game? That's
Yeah,
what
I'll be
you're about.
So when he asks for an assistant, if you have anything to say when they talk, do you think, why are these other people talking? Carson, do you think that way?
I mean, sometimes I just be zoning out. Sometimes it just goes one ear out the other.
Coach, how does that make you feel?
No, I'm used to it. I know. That's why after the game, I only speak anymore. If you've noticed now, I've shortened those way down because I know if I need to say something, I'll save it for the next day.
So, guys, let me ask you. I know some you, as baseball players, you're also observing your teammates and the other team. So, what things annoy you about other baseball players? I mean, sometimes like when a strike is right down the middle and they nod their head and yeah, that was a strike. What annoys you about? Don't give names, but just annoys you about other players' habits or things you notice. I'll start with you, Parker.
Slowing down, especially on defense, when the batter slows down the pace of the game, it ticks me off. Or like when you start complaining about like an obvious strike that's been the strike the whole game, it really kind of gets me fired up a little bit.
Mikey, before you answer, what do you say to the umpires before the game starts? Do you introduce yourselves? How does that go?
Yeah, you gotta. Me?
Yeah,
Me?
you just say.
You gotta, introduce yourself, be as friendly as possible, get to know the guy a little bit, know like what he likes to do or like how his zone is or how he, like if he likes to throw it back to the pitcher, if he likes to give it to you, you gotta know like the little things, the ins and outs of the umpire.
Mikey, back to my original question about things that might annoy you.
Teammate-wise, when somebody comes in and slams their stuff, or they just start
Coach
Yeah,
is giving
that-
you an eye. Do you do that occasionally?
I don't slam my stuff.
He doesn't.
That's the one thing I refuse to do.
He won't do that.
But
He'll blame somebody though.
I will blame somebody. But against an opponent, when they step out, like if I have my rhythm on the mound and they step out and try to slow me down, or they keep on calling time, or they keep on picking me off, that makes me mad too. Or when somebody Soto shuffles, that really makes me mad too.
Carson, same question.
I mean, they've said it all, but slowing down the pace of the game, coming in the dugout, slamming your stuff, cussing, and just cussing, coming in the dugout, slamming your stuff brings down the team energy in a whole. You need positivity in the dugout. You can't have negativity coming out of the dugout because it brings the whole team down. And when the kids sitting on the bench not playing, it just loses their energy, and then they're done with the game once they get that.
Carson, I've seen actually Mikey and Parker watch a Major League Baseball game in person, and you say you watch college baseball. Do you have a player that you like to emulate as yourself, or somebody you look up to?
I mean, I really don't have a specific person I ultimately look up to. I find key points in different players that I see and see what they do, and I just kind of try to bring that into my game as best as possible, and then go to Coach Free or someone, see if it's working or what I can fix and whatever I'm struggling with.
Mikey, do you have a favorite player, any level?
College, I would say Hunter Hensley, and then MLB, I'd say Ronald Acuna Jr. has been my favorite player ever since he got in the league.
Parker?
Buster Posey was a dog.
Former Giants catcher.
Nothing could get past him, and he was the even kill every single game. Nothing else was gonna go wrong when he was behind the plate. Obviously, Yachty, big name.
Former Cardinals catcher.
Yeah, he was crazy too. I mean, same with Buster, he was the general of the entire game, entire field. And then JT Realmuto now he emulates power, speed, and has an absolute cannon.
He's a dirty Philly. That's all I'm going to say about that. Coach, did you have a favorite player when you were growing up?
Yeah, we talked about that. I always liked Jeter as a shortstop because I played shortstop my whole life. I'm a huge Braves fan though, so all my favorite players at this point are Braves and were Chipper. Andrew Jones is one of my favorite outfielders ever to watch. I like all that whole pitching staff and all those things that they did. But my favorite player, I guess I would have to say, is I always watch Jeter. When I went and watched highlights or anything, I always try to emulate how his foot pattern was and all those things. I actually learned a lot of my infield technique from that, and then now Ron Washington doing it with the Braves, a lot of that stuff. But that was my favorite.
I'm not usually a name dropper, but I'll just be honest with you. I had a conversation with Chipper last week, honestly, and it kind of reminds me of something you said earlier. He came out, the Braves were ahead. He said, I've got to go home because I have a 14-year-old at home all by himself, and I don't trust him in the house. Yeah. And obviously, you're a coach. You have boys at home, but you also have all these guys. How do you make sure that they're all on the same page and doing the right things?
Well, I'll be honest. I mean, they would sit here and tell you, this has been the hardest year we've ever had. I mean, I think that they would agree, too. That, they're talking a good game, but we've had some hard times this year. And we won to mask some of those things, but, we've had some super high emotion and guys who just can't. So I'm trying to find my way through it just like that. But one thing we have created, that one thing that is really special about this team is we're always not afraid to talk about it as a group. They'll talk to me, I'll talk to them. I'm not scared to call them, and I'm pretty black and white with them. I call them in my office. I talk to them privately. I talk to them publicly. I'm pretty open with all of them. If there's one thing about our team that we have now, I'm with them all the way. And they trust me, and I trust them a lot of times, and probably to a fault, but that is one thing we have as a bond. And if they really needed me or if I needed them, they would stand right beside me and go to war. So that's what's going to start to happen tomorrow, I would imagine, because I'm going to need them to be their best. And I believe that they'll have my back just like I'll have theirs. So, but how do I do it? I just constant conversation and not being afraid to know that I'm wrong. I'm not. Sometimes I need them to help me. Where do I need to go to help us turn the page? But we're getting closer. Yesterday we had a really good day, and I think we have a good plan. We got one team as our logo on the locker room. One team, one mission, win one game at a time. And we got a little road map all the way to Murfreesboro, and it's got every step along the way what it's going to take for us to get there. So we're going to each night we kind of can go out there and do it. We're going to check that box off each day until we can get all the way back. So hopefully they're ready to go just like I'm going to be ready to go tomorrow, and I'm going to stand right beside them and can't wait to watch them is what I tell them every night. I can't wait to watch. I can't wait to be there. I can't wait to just say go. You guys go play and let us all enjoy it.
I'm going to ask you all three the same question, kind of different way. Your favorite memory individual as a Wildcat? Carson, you had a home run against Halls. I remember your smile going around the bases, but what is your favorite memory as a player and as a team for Oak Ridge?
I'd have to say winning that region game going to state last year, it was amazing. Just being in the moment. That was the first time in Oak Ridge history, I think, in 50.
Maryville game?
I think he's talking about
Sevier County.
The sub-state game, yeah.
In 52 years, I know that was my first year here, but I mean, that was a big moment to be a part of that team and be here for the first time in 52 years. I think that's a big moment.
Mikey?
I would say the same thing, but being able to dump the water on Coach Free is definitely a big memory of mine, and it's something I probably dreamed about. Hopefully I can do it again this year, but this time we're bringing back the state championship trophy.
Parker?
Both coming from the Sevier County game, the double that I hit late at Sevier County might have been one of the single-handed greatest moments that I've had in my baseball career. Fighting through the AB and able to put that in the gap for our team to score runs and then turning around and looking at the dugout, and everybody was hyped. Like I had Brooks Earls was on the field with me almost. Will Maddox was there to smack my hand as soon as I passed him. Like it was sick. And then the dog pile at the end of that third game was unlike any other experience somebody could ever ask for.
Whose hair looked best bleached last year at the state tournament?
Oh, Mikey's was orange.
Titus.
Titus, because he's already
best.
got that blonde flow. So that really doesn't count.
Carson, what do you think Coach Free was like as a kid?
I think he'd be crazy. I feel like he ran around the house in his underwear, just running around messing with everyone.
Parker, does he run around the house in his underwear as an adult?
Gladly, no.
Mikey, what do you think he was like as a kid?
He was definitely a terrorizer, but also I feel like he was a hard worker at the same time.
Coach, what were you like as a kid?
I was mischievous. I got in some trouble a little bit. I was a hard worker, though. I will say that. I think they recognize that in me. I've always worked. I've always worked hard and not scared of work, not even on the field or whatever. I wish I had. I mean, I tell Parker this all the time. He's way better than I ever thought about being. It's not even close. But, I did work hard at a lot of things. I had to, though, just to make it.
I'm going to ask all three of you. This is more. We only have about 3.5 minutes left, and then I want to close it up with Coach here. But what life lessons can you learn from baseball? I know that's pretty deep, but what life lessons can you learn from baseball?
I can start. Just that every day, like you have to come out every day, and you never get a day off. Every day it's the same mental taxing, it's the same body taxing, but at the end of the day, are you going to be able to lead the group of guys, the group of 9 out there on that field, to lead you for the rest of your life as a future businessman or future employee, and also as a future father?
Mikey?
It helps you build relationships for sure, and also on top of that, it gives you a hardworking mindset because, like Parker said, going in there day out, it's mentally draining, but you got to be mentally tough in order to go through it. So it gives you mental ability and toughens you up a little bit.
Carson, you want to answer that?
I mean, it sets you up for life. I mean, baseball teaches you many things. It can teach you how to be a good leader, or it just gives you the mindset of everything.
Guys, I appreciate you joining us here. Our time is up. I didn't ask you some of my favorite questions, but I thought we had a good conversation here. Good luck the rest of the way, and hopefully we'll see you back in, I guess, Murfreesboro again this year.
Yes, sir.
Thanks a lot, Coach. We've got about 2 minutes here. Let's look down the road here. I know you don't want to do this because I know, we might have a show next week. So, as you look at it, top teams in the other district, top teams in the Upper East Tennessee that could be potential sub-states if you make it that far.
A lot of things are going on tonight, but right now, obviously, Farragut won District 3, but Hardin Valley and Bearden were all right there neck and neck. So those are the top 3 teams. It's going to be interesting. Those games are going on tonight. We should be checking those scores, too, to see how those games are going. That's going to be an interesting who comes out on top. Our league, everybody knows it's us, PAL, and Central. And then Halls, though, I think Halls is super talented. I think they have a lot of really good players. So we're really going to have to be playing on our A game tomorrow night. I think they went ahead and won this game here against Carnes. In Upper East Tennessee, it looks like right now Science Hill won the league. Daniel Boone finished second right behind them. I think it was by tiebreaker. Dobbins-Bennett is supposedly the best team with talent, like talent by player for player. They're supposedly the best. But we'll see who makes it. I don't know about the Sevier County. Right now, Jeff County won that league. But that's going to be a toss-up. We're hearing the best teams are all the way up in the Upper East Tennessee this year, though.
Coach, I appreciate the time and good luck here in the postseason to you, your staff, and the guys. And hopefully, like I said, we'll see you in Murfreesboro.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's get it. Hopefully, we get on a roll and we get to see some of those cool things we saw last year.
It's Travis Free, head coach of the Wildcats, 7th year, I believe, Coach? 7th year at Oak Ridge High School. Appreciate Chandler in the back for pushing all the right buttons. We'll be back again next week, 7 o'clock, here on BBB Communications Channel 1086 and Prep Radio on the YouTube channel. This is David Clary. Until next week, saying so long, everybody.